In this video, I'm going to show you how to find the slope of a line by drawing a sketch. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw myself an x and a y axis. There's my x. And here's my y. And your goal here is to actually think through, what do these points look like? Where are they located on my x and y axis? If this is my x-axis and this is my y, well, the point negative 6, 1, let's say negative 6 is somewhere over here. I'm going to write negative 6. And then 1 is going to be really close on the y, to the x-axis. So there's positive 1. That makes the point negative 6, 1 right here. The next point is 4, negative 4. So I'm going to go, if the space from here to here is 6, well, the space to 4 is a little bit smaller. But this is a positive 4 on my x value, so I'm going to say that positive 4 is right about there. And we're just sketching, it doesn't have to be perfect. And on the y-axis, then negative 4 will be about here. And now my point, 4, negative 4, is going to be right here. And I'm using this sketch to help me visualize the slope. And when I look at this slope, I know one thing right away, that this is a negative slope. I'm going, some people like to think about it as going downhill, right? If I'm drawing my line from left to right, I'm moving downhill. So right off the bat, I know something about my slope. I know that it is a negative slope. So what you're doing with slope is you're figuring out the vertical distance and the horizontal distance from when I go from one point to another. So if I'm going to go from the first point down to the second point, I'm going to go down this far and I'm going to go over this far. Okay, so the question is, how far did I go? When I went from here down to here, if I think about the y values of my point, I went from positive 1 all the way down to negative 4. So I'm going this distance. So if I were to count those spaces, right, my slope is always the change in the y value over the change in the x value. That's the formula. It's a good idea to write it down. It's in your reference sheet. I'm going how many spaces? Well, I have 1 space here and 4 spaces here. So I know I'm going a total of 5 spaces. And we're moving down, so that's negative 5. Then to get from here to here, I went to the right, so it's positive. And I'm going from negative 6 all the way over to positive 4. So how far is that? Well, if I think about it, I'm going 6 spaces here, and then I'm going 4 spaces here. So I'm going a total of 10 spaces. This means that my slope is negative 5 over 10. And what you should do is simplify the slope. So take your calculator, and you're going to write negative 5 divided by 10, and hit enter. The slope is negative 0.5, but you want to write it in fraction form, so I hit math, and you can see it says fraction right there. You can hit the number 1 or enter, and enter again, and I can see my slope is negative 1/2, and the way I would write that is negative 1 over 2. So my slope is equal to negative 1/2. That is how to sketch slope.